All right, so let's wrap this up. This piece, I'm just going to test it a little bit. I mean, if this is really a shelving unit, and it's only holding stuff that's on a shelf, I'm just going to kind of modify some of this. And in fact, if I was really smart, I'd probably go ahead and start to modify the profile so it can be something really kind of extraordinary. But all right, so we have all these kind of working the way we want. They're all that half-inch stuff. But there's a couple other things that we can talk about that we might want to do. So first thing is like, well, if we looked at a reference, shelf being kind of halfway through is not like spanning equal distance is not really what we wanted. There's probably another line of structure that we're going to want. So let's just figure out how to do that. So I think what we're going to do is go into this the 1-inch, 16-inch shelf. And if we put in an offset here, say like 8 inches, we'll see that we've shifted that over. Other things that we might have tried would be, if we click on this, edit type, well, not that. Click on the curtain wall system. Maybe we don't want it quite that high. So let's just see what that does. That's kind of what we would expect. If we edit this, let's just kind of work through some of the other things that we might attempt to do. Oh, okay. So it'd be like, let's see what this does, just so we all know kind of what things are doing. So I'm gonna say like 1 foot shift. All right, so what happened here, so we can talk about, is I changed the vertical to have a 1 foot shift. So it's always going to put one at the end, but then it shifted the pattern over 1 foot and then started the pattern from there. So that's what that does. So if that's what we wanted, great. If not, we just got to change it back. Horizontal will be somewhat similar. So say we want to have a 2 foot kind of base or even a counter height kind of base and then start the pattern. Then we would simply go into here. We'd say, let's say, let's just say that it's like at 30 inches, we want to start the pattern. And so now it's got, that. I don't think that's what we want to do, but maybe I do want to have a 2 foot kind of base. And so let's look at some other things that you can start to kind of to do here. One would be I can tab through, and if there was certain joints that I wanted to get rid of, say, let's just say that we want the pattern of structure to be not 3 feet, but let's say it's like every 18 inches. So it's really dense, right? But I don't really want it to be that dense. I want it to kind of have kind of an effect where I get rid of certain pieces so that it appears kind of a little bit more staggered and random. So you can do that here. I can kind of select through. Now, given that once you lose them, it's a little bit harder to get them back. So you have to kind of know what you're doing and have an agenda. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to set this back to our 3 foot. Okay. So that's another thing that we can do. So if we have, I think I went so far back, I've lost my 2 feet, so I'll put that back in. All right, so other things you can do is you notice that you have a panel that you really can't see, but it's glazed. So if we actually go to shaded view, you'll see that we have a glazed panel. The reason we have a glazed panel is we're going to edit this, and even though this has a curtain panel that says none, it's always going to put glazed by default. To actually not have anything, like have it empty, you've got to scroll down to empty system panel and apply that. And that now it's actually nothing there. Well, there actually is, you can actually select the panel, but it'll act like there's nothing there. So the reason I did that is that if we look at the reference, and I've got that somewhere. If we look at the reference, I mean, maybe there's something kind of along these lines that you're trying to show, either a kind of a storage unit or something of that nature, just a solid box. So to get that back in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that row. I'm going to use filter to get rid of anything that I don't want. I just want the curtain panels. I'm going to apply that. So now it only has selected the panels that was in my selection set. I'm going to get rid of the two that I don't want. And I can go up here. Oh, come on. Oh, I need to unpin them. Okay, so if you didn't catch it, unpinned, and then now I can change that to say solid. And now I've got solid panels there at the base. Okay, so you do have control over individual elements. You just have to unpin them and change them into whatever you want. So if I didn't want a shelf there and I just want it to be a tube, I can do that. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. So now what? Well, the cool thing is that we're basically trying to work out a design solution on one, kind of a simple facsimile, and then apply that to something that's a little bit more grandiose. So the last bit that I need to do is like, well, I need to put this structure in. So this is not going to be, it's going to be like we did our stairs, where we kind of created a second stair instead of trying to somehow convince Revit that it had these kind of multiple functional ideas in the stair unit. So all I'm doing is I'm copying that, and I'm just going to change this to become, the back system. So shelving back. And at this point, then all I need to do is clear this shelf part and apply it. And then I just need to, shelf back. Oh, that's interesting. Shelving back didn't change that. Right, I'm going to change it to 1 inch and see what happens there. Okay, for some reason, I think I must have inadvertently said don't delete instead of deleting it. So I think now if I went ahead and told them to be removed, it probably would be okay, but I'm just going to leave them in there because it really won't affect the what I'm doing. So now you just kind of connect the dots, right? See what it looks like in level 1. All right, so what I'm wanting you to do is to create some kind of custom piece. It could be shelving, it could be a piece of furniture that just uses regular parts So I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video about kind of exactly some ideas. But I want you to be creative. So if we look at what we've got here, so now it really does look like, at least from kind of the front of house, that I've got this kind of new shelving unit. Instead of it being a curtain wall system, it actually is a shelving unit. And if I went in and created some custom profiles for these structural pieces or the shelving, if I wanted to get really kind of exact, I could create a profile that is that L. And so then this would have that same kind of backing behind it. So that's pretty cool. Curtain walls can be your best friend. If you're trying to repeat an element over and over again, this is great. And I'll show you a few other tricks here shortly.